Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to brief the NOAA JPSS product update for the CSPP users. I want to upfront thank many of my colleagues listed here and many not listed here. It's been a great team effort. So here's the outline of my talk. I'm going to provide JPSS product update and focus on the J2 pre-launch readiness and some of the science improvement. And then talk about the J2 post-launch CALVA maturity timeline and plans. Also, I'm going to talk about SSMPP data flow. I heard some question about that early in the session, so hopefully I can bring some further updates and make some clarification, and also report on the status of the JPSS reprocessing and share some lessons we learned from SMPP NOAA 20 and apply to J2, and then conclude with a summary. So first, some latest update on J2, some of the key program events. So early May, we completed a very successful JPSS2 FOR review. There's just no RFAs, which is very unusual for this type of program review I've ever attended. So in really good shape, at least the flight side for the launch readiness. And then our next biggest milestone review is early August. It's a combined pre-ship review and operational readiness review for J2. And some update about the pre-launch testing. So we call it JCTs. We just complete a round of JCT3 testing events. All very pretty successful, and there's some only minor issue found, and we are incorporate some of the further updates of the lookup table and code changes. And then there's a target. There's a data flow event target later this month. It's going to flow through all the sensor data product and the environment data product, and so hopefully we'll provide some further testing opportunities. And for pre-launch build, we are in very good shape to release IMAX7, which is our launch readiness build. The target date is July 18, and we are on schedule to release that. And one of the major updates is for the VIIRS SDR team. We want to share with the CSPP community. As you know, that one of the possible improvements for J2 is that the updated sample frequency for VIIRS SDR, so that it's possible to bring improvement of the geolocation post-launch. And there was some concern that the current code might not work for this, but during the pre-launch testing, it has been cleared, so everything worked okay, and the product looks good for geolocation. And we have a launch date set for November 1st, and everything looks very ready, at least from our product and our perspective. So I'm going to dive into now to each of the sensors, give you some more update. For ATMS, this is our critical microwave sounder. So it's directly go into the data assimilation and also input for the VIIRS and generate more than 10 EDR product. So the science improvement the team is working on is a collocation VIIRS and ATMS data to improve the cloud information quality control, and using the overlapping for better improved spatial resolution. And for the J2 operational product updates, so all the planned J2 update for ATMS has been delivered. One of the improvement the team developed is the better, more accurate and stable noise estimate. That has been sent to the users for their feedback, and once the users say, yeah, this is what we want, we're going to bring that into operation. And figure on the right showing the J2 pre-launch test results for J2 comparing with the NOAA 20 and SMPP. As you can see that the accuracy It's very much comparable with NOAA 20, and in many of the channels, it's better than SMPP performance. And there's a sample weighting function. You can see that the channel peak at different levels of the atmosphere. The other improvement we want to highlight here for J2 is that for SMPP we have the the interchannel noise correlation issue that the users have issue with that. For JPSS1 it's improved, and for J2 it's even further improved. As you can see on the rightmost lower panel, especially for the water vapor channel, it's just a very, very, very good improvement right there. So one of the advantages for JPSS is that we have a continuity, same sensor planned out for J2, and it's going to be complete the builds in the next few years. And for ATMS, we have all the the results from current and future sensors. And as you can see here, while we maintain the program continuity and all the same sensors, we also bring in the latest science and technology to improve the performance. As you can see that the green on the left is the noise of the sensors for all the current SMPP NOAA 20 and the future sensors. As you can see, for all the channels, the performance is much better than the spec, which is in the green color, and also keep improving for the future sensors. Similarly, for the striping index, which is very much important matter for the data assimilation, it's also keep improving for the ATMS sensors. And now moving on to the CrIS, which is another very important sounder for JPSS. It's a hyperspectral infrared sounder. So it's directly support the data assimilation by the forecast and also input for the new CAP product, which generate temperature moisture profiles and TRIS gas product and other important product. So the current experiment research, which support actually by our SIMS science team, is the principal components. As mentioned earlier, I think probably Andy also mentioned it's very important for the hyperspectral sounder applications, especially the next generation GeoXO and also EPS second gen, because the large data volume, so the PC scores is one of the high priority for the future and current hyperspectral sounders. I'm going to talk more on the next slide. And also for the J2 operational update, all the planned update has been delivered and implemented. And also the latest the CrIS team want to share with CSPP users that during the JCT3 test just happened, the CrIS SDR has been successfully tested. And as you could see on the right side, that's right, come right out from the pre-launch testing. As you can see, the right is spec, and the other curves are for a 9 different photo view. All of the 9 photo view are well within the spec, which is good news. You probably all are aware, but I just want to quickly mention that the CrIS, the nominal spectral resolution, which is a 1305 channel, has been terminated in 2020. So going forward for CrIS, we are using all the full spectral resolution, so more than 2,000 channels available to the users, and allow the improvement of the upper troposphere, lower stratosphere water vapor improvement, and also all the TRIS, the carbon TRIS gas retrievals. So some latest update about the CrIS PC score studies. So the CrIS SDR team work with the SIMS science team, Dave Tobin and many other expertise supporting the generate the principal component scores from CrIS sensor, like we did from CrIS VIIRS and YASI. So the value is really, for hyperspectral channel, we have, let's say for CrIS, we have more than 2,000 channels Using the principal components, we could use just a small fraction of the number of principal components. We can reconstruct the full spectral. The example on the right is showing the NOAA 20 observation on the top, and then lower left is reconstructed using the PC, and the lower right is a difference. You can see that the CrIS SDR can be reconstructed within the noise level, which is great. And this is something well demonstrated now, and we are going to work with the PPM team, bring that into, work through the process and bring it to operation. And meanwhile, this is something I want to give a heads up to the CSPP. So if there's a user interest, there's no issue that why we cannot implement that in the CSPP and make it available for you to users and get the, so we have a chance to get the users' feedback, and along the way we bring it to operation. So for another important sensor, OMPS, as I mentioned, that it's important to provide the measurement of the ozone hole, and very important for the climate application, and also the air quality monitoring. So for J2, the key improvement is improve the spatial resolution. So current, we have it like 17 kilometers. For J2, it's going to be more like 10 to 12. The example showing here left is the current resolution, and then on the right is a J2 proxy. You can see much more details and structure can be captured using the J2 proxy. This is going to bring the OMPS sensor and product more consistent with other similar sensors, such as TRPOMI and which is a 7-kilometer resolution. Lower right is showing some update of the reprocessing of the OMPS, AM on the left and MP on the right. You can see the reprocessing. The latest version is the green color, and then the operation is in blue color. As you can see that the reprocessed data record provide a much more consistent data record. And if you want to look at the trending, the anomaly, the reprocessed data record is a much more better data sets to be used. I don't know if it's impacted the CSPP users, but if you're looking at the trending or long-term performance of the data product, this reprocessing data is much better to use. And it's already made available to on the class, which is freely and openly available to the worldwide users. So some updates for the VIIRS for J2. I remember for NOAA 20, one of the biggest issues for the users is that the spectral response function was not available to the users. So for J2, we do a much better job. So it's already, the spectral response function is already publicly available on the website. From the pre-launch data, we see some difference of the spectral response functions, as you can see here, especially for some of the channel, like M13, M6, so those, I'm sorry, M9, and so those proxy data has been provided to the EDRs, and they did assessment on the EDR side on the impact of the J2 product, and did incorporate those in their update for J2 pre-launch deliveries. On the right, showing the imagery update. So we have already implemented the terrain-corrected geolocation for the imagery. So when you see the especially over the terrain, you see the the imagery before, have the shift of the because of terrain uncorrected terrain geolocation error, and now it's all corrected. So VIIRS in pretty good shape, and the VIIRS science team have some special message for the CSPP users I want to share with you here. So this is their results coming out from the TVAC data just done in the past few weeks. So some update, so for the night band, there's no street light effect is expected, And so for some of the quality flag and quality controls, they're going to make some update for the J2 lookup table and some code change. So we're going to work with the team, bring those into the operation. And there's a code change. I think this is a good story because I think last year, or sorry, 2020, we got a report from CSPP that there's some VIIRS anomaly over the Mexico City. There's a granular of data has issue, and then the SDR team looked into that and found that it's actually a code error in the RDR algorithm replication. So but they didn't see that issue in the IDPS operational. They only see it in CSPP. That's a very interesting one, a tricky one. So I believe the science team already delivered the fix to CSPP, and CSPP implement the patch, so the issue should not be in the CSPP anymore. It's already fixed, and we are now bringing that into the operation. So that's really improvement. That's a very, very good feedback we got from CSPP. And this is not necessary for J2, but I just want to mention this is a pretty significant improvement we are bringing for the CrIS actually. So for JPSS, we already co-locate the VIIRS cloud information with CrIS to help the user to utilize the CrIS data in their data assimilation. But we got the recommendation, suggestion from our NWP users. They really want the VIIRS cluster to help them to utilize the CrIS data. So our PI, Lihang, founded under JPSS Program Science, did some great work and made a lot of good progress. Developed the algorithm, actually developed the algorithm-specific CrIS using a k-mean clustering. And showing here is just a comparison for the CrIS algorithm, cluster algorithm, compared with the YASI algorithm. The result is very comparable, which is great. And there's some differences, but the thing is that the CrIS algorithm running faster. Lihang is sending a day's worth test data to the users, to the NWP users, and get feedback, and then we're going to work through the process to bring this into the Nessus operation. And similarly, meanwhile, we could, there's no issue, we could provide that to the CSPP, and if you can, include that in the CSPP, and make it available to the users, I think that'll be something pretty good too. So we talked about the J2 readiness and science improvement, and Bonnie's poster has more product information, and I didn't include a lot of VIIRS stuff, but if you have any questions, we are here to answer your question or point you to the right people. Next set of slides, I'm going to talk about some J2 post-launch activity and also timeline. Seth presented this earlier, so basically it's for the KPP product and our timeline. So it's going to be very much comparable to NOAA 20, and we only expect that we do it faster, hopefully for J2 if possible. And I'm going to present to you some more detail of the timeline supporting that the overall KPP schedule. So for each of the sensor, the science team work together with flight team and the post-launch activity planning. So the key is, this has to be closely worked with the flight team, which is, going to be ensure the sensor meet the NOAA users requirement. And the science team pretty much have a day-to-day CAVAL activity planned out for all the, the first 90 days activities. So, for example, the ATMS is going to be pretty quick, as you know, right? So around launch plus 10, 11 days, we're going to have first light image, then right after data start flow. And then beta will be pretty fast, like launch plus 20 days, and then provisional around launch plus a month time frame. So ATMS, of course, the team will, do all the update based on the post-launch data, and then check out all the sensor parameters and make sure that it's all meet the requirement. And there's a lot of detail that went into the planning. I'm just showing here the tasks they planned out, work with among the Calibration team, and also coordinates this flight. So we have this kind of thing, this kind of activities planned out for all the sensors. And showing here is a CrIS, which take longer because it need outgassing and things like that. So first light expected about around the launch plus 48 days, and then the team is going to update the engineering package, the first engineering package update. After that, it's going to be beta around launch plus 65 days, and then right before the launch plus 90 days, we expected to update the second engineering package and then reach the provisional right there. For OMPS, similarly planned, and the OMPS is the unique of OMPS is it's a very flexible and very capable instrument, and NASA flight is doing a lot. So this involves a lot of coordination with the flight team. But the team put together a very good plan for the OMPS post-launch checkout and the beta and provisional maturity. So we are highly competent on that, on all those maturity milestones. And for VIIRS and next is Imagery, we also have all the details planned out. I have to emphasize here, this is not the final one. We are still waiting the science team. So we, as I mentioned, we just complete the TVAC recently. So the team promised that by June 30th, they're going to provide updated version of this, but it should be pretty close. So in summary, pre-launch, we have all the pre-launch algorithms for SDRs, and most of EDRs are already delivered and implemented and also tested using the pre-launch test data. And post-launch for Calva maturity, all the KPPs are expected to be in provision, launch plus 3 months, and then validated around launch plus 9 months. We have all the Calva maturity and the activities documented in the Calva plan. I have a link there. So if you're interested, you're welcome to take a look and let us know if you have any questions. So this is a timeline including not just SDR, but also EDRs. This is built in the data product, the dependencies of the timeline. For example, the cloud mask, which is very important for a lot of downstream product, right? So there's those other downstream EDRs depend on the maturity of the cloud mask. So this is important. Why? Because it's the Calva maturity is very important because it supports directly on the J2 operation timeline. So when the data available to certain users for Calva pre to provisional, we call it pre-operational. That's still under Calva, and the performance is not necessarily meet all the requirement. But then when the product reaches the provisional, which is critical Calva milestone, that's when the time also will declare its operation. This showed a little earlier, so I don't want to spend more time on it. We have all the detail documented in the product operation plan, which Jim has contributed a lot to it. So basically, this is our transition timeline for J2 when post-launch. So this is update for the SMT data flows. I hear some questions mentioned about this, so hopefully this bring you some a little bit more update. And so for IDPS, all the KPPs, the sensor data product and imagery, there's no problem. They're going to generate it for 3 satellites. And for the EDRs, that's where we have the 2 satellite constraint. And then the good news is during the previous testing, the OSPO already tested 3 satellites using their current system. And it seems there's no issue that using the current margin, they can run it, run 3 satellites. But we just want to be clear here, it's the requirement, but also there's probably workload concerns, and there's need some prioritization, need to be worked out. But the decision will hopefully come from the next director in September timeframe. Some lessons learned I want to share with you for J2. So we talk about the interaction improvement. We work with flight closely, so we work side by side with the flight team. And the process improvement is that we want to all the pre-launch, all the algorithm update for J2 implement for pre-launch for not just SDR but also EDR. That's been done. And the third one actually is related to the DB community. So there's lessons learned that we want to provide pre-launch test data to the HRD user. So for the launch ratings, it's good to learn that the current system, software, and hardware are all ready for J2. But if you need any additional test data, let me know. Yeah, we are going to try to help. So this is our J2 data release plan, which is very similar to what we have for the NOAA 20. So basically, the HRD data will start flow soon after launch, but we're going to go through the tab-out process to release other data product from class and IPS. So reprocessing update. So Sasha already touched base on that. I just want to mention, I just want to add first the ATMS, CrIS, and OMPS data, reprocessed data already available on class. And second, the NOAA 20 is ongoing, so we're going to have that available. Lastly, I want to highlight the ICVS system. So it's critical to monitoring the sensors. That's why with this system we can have very quick turnaround of whenever there's an instrument anomaly, or if you see any problem with EDR, you go there, see the SDR issue, we can quickly find out. So some of the new feature found here, like the reprocessing is now available on the ICVS, and there's an inter-sensor comparison that the JPSS sensors are compared with, say, the MATOP and the GHOST sensors. You can see that, and different ways to comparison. And there's also interactive feature added, and also all the 3-dimension visualizations available. So I have all the links there, so feel free to see more. Here's my summary. So JPSS will continue to support end-to-end product lifecycle for the mission, and our current focus is really the J2 readiness, and also maintain the NOAA 20 and SMPP, including the science reprocessing. We also want to see if, during the reprocessing, whether there's a different format need to provide user to meet the user's need. For R2O, we work closely with our Nestis PPM team, and try to bring the new product very efficiently. We are having our flat mapping product in operation next month, and a lot more. And for cloud transition, it's a very exciting time. We are migrating our algorithm from NDE to the cloud. So we are working closely with all the key partners, make sure that it's supporting the cloud transition, but also make sure that it's consistent with our J2 readiness timeline. And also we are putting our data, JPSS data, to the NOAA BBP to make the available to the users. For user engagement, last but not least, we are working with program science and Nestis Proving Ground program to ensure that our product being utilized and optimized user applications for all the legal products. And with that, I thank you all.
Any questions? Yes. on behalf of CSPP, just like to show our appreciation to the very prompt responses and support to give it to us, provide us the best candidate in terms of the new ability of the algorithms. You are so supportive and make our job much easier, and then I know the users want to have the latest, greatest algorithm producing a product, and you are the best reach, and we thank you for that.
Thank you, Alan. I just want to add on, like, this is probably my first CSPP workshop. Already I learned a lot. I mean, so inspiring to hear our Alaska user, our Guam user, the user from Mexico, from the Asian Pacific. So many inspiring stories, and I have a lot of good message to bring back to the program. Thank you.
This may be a stupid question, but I know being here at SSCC, there's the NASA kind of parallel effort, and that's a different level 1 format. Some people prefer that format. Is there any talk of merging, at least for the archive?
Thank you, Andy. That's such a great question. I actually just talked with Liam a little bit about that. So, we're also thinking about that. So there's a NASA, all the SIPs, which if those formats are really user-liked, there's no issue why we can also provide similar format, or at least a tool for users to conform or reformat the NOAA data to the NASA type of format for the users, sake. So, we'll talk more about that, with the science team, and when I go back talk to this Satya and ground team to see how we're going forward. But definitely that's something to be considered. Thank you.